Imagine a world where corporations rule, and the poor are nothing more than lab rats. In 2035 France, the government is just a puppet. Homeless camps spread like wildfire, and ruthless companies now control everything, including human experiments. And at the center of it all, a fallen boxer named Ares, who's about to make the most dangerous decision of his life. In the 2000s and 20s, France fell, not to war, but to greed. Corporate giants seized control, turning the government into their puppet and the people into collateral damage. As the economy crumbled, millions lost everything, and the streets became home to the forgotten. Beneath the Eiffel Tower, once a symbol of hope, now lay the city's most infamous homeless camp, a graveyard of shattered dreams. But the corporations wanted more. Stripping away the last protections, they turned human lives into experiments, testing dangerous drugs on desperate souls. Athletes became lab rats, their bodies no longer their own. In this new world, survival wasn't about strength. It was about who was willing to fight back. Ares knows this world all too well. He was once a rising star, a boxer with the world at his feet, but everything changed the day he took that fateful drug. 10 years ago, a major pharmaceutical company promised him a shortcut to greatness. He didn't hesitate, but the drug was too powerful. During a high-stakes fight, Ares collapsed, his body betraying him in the worst way possible. A stroke left him broken, his dreams shattered in an instant. He was no longer the champion the world had once adored, just another casualty in a system that chewed people up and spit them out. Now Ares lives in the fringes, forgotten by the sport he once loved. But as the world around him spirals, he's faced with a choice. Live in the ruins of his past or take a risk that could bring him back from the edge, even if it means facing the ultimate consequence. Now Ares is with a doctor who is examining an old head injury he suffered. While he is there, a man calls him out to collect money from his coach. As Ares steps outside, his girlfriend approaches him. Her name is Alina, and she works as a corporate agent. Besides his boxing, Ares takes on small, dangerous jobs for Alina. The world has changed, and so has he. He's no longer just a fighter. He's a tool for hire, doing whatever it takes to survive. This time, he's stationed on the front lines as a riot security guard, working for the corporate-run police department. The streets are full of chaos, and Ares feels the tension in the air. It's not a great job, but it pays. Survival is the only thing that matters now. While he stands on duty, keeping watch over the crowd, something catches his eye. His niece, Anouk. She's being dragged away by officers, her face full of fear as they shove her into a police van. Ares doesn't think. His heart races, and everything else fades away. He rushes through the crowd, shoving past anyone who gets in his way. He reaches the van, grabs Anouk, and pulls her out of the officer's grip. Without a word, they run together. When they reach the train station, the news blares from the speakers. The government has passed a new law. Firearms are now illegal. The city feels like it's falling apart. At Carla's apartment, Ares sees the worry in her eyes before she even says anything. Carla works at a news channel, always reporting the latest stories. But today, her face shows fear. Another company plans to test a dangerous new drug on humans. She begs Ares not to get involved. But Ares isn't listening. He's tired. The money is his only chance to escape, and he'll do whatever it takes to get it. Carla's colleague tries to warn him too. The older man's voice is calm, but there's panic in his words. But Ares doesn't care. He knows the world has already taken too much from him. Later, Anna, a sharp corporate executive, speaks with the CEO of the company. She tells him that their new drug has already caused the deaths of many people. But the CEO is unfazed. He calmly tells her to test the drug on Ares. It seems the drug is compatible only with his DNA. Anna arrives at the boxing arena. She offers him a deal. Take the drug, and he'll return to the top of the boxing world. Ares stands still, feeling the weight of her words. He knows what this drug has done to others. He knows the bodies it's left behind. Without hesitation, he refuses. His life isn't worth the risk, not for fame or money. But Anna doesn't back down. She insists they tested the drug on his blood. It's the only thing that works. No one else has survived it. She speaks in facts and science. His coach adds his voice, urging Aries to seize the opportunity. This is his chance to return to glory. But Aries is firm. He won't be another test subject. He turns and walks away, the weight of their words still heavy in the air. The next day, after a brief and unsettling encounter, Carla, his sister, has been arrested for possessing a gun. The new law has made firearms illegal, and now Carla is caught in its grip. Shock grips Aries as he hears the news. He wants to take the blame, to do whatever it takes to protect her, but his lawyer quickly shuts him down. The evidence is clear, and there's no way out. Aries won't be allowed to meet Carla, but there's one small thing he can do: take custody of Anouk and Little May, Carla's two daughters. Aries takes the girls with him and calls Alina. He tells her they need to find a way to rescue Carla. Alina agrees to help, showing that she cares for him despite everything that's happening. Next, Aries goes to meet Boris, a journalist who worked with Carla. Boris is trying to tell the press that Carla is innocent, but Aries isn't interested in talking to the media. He takes Boris aside and warns him to stay out of it. Aries isn't going to let anyone else get caught up in this. He's handling it himself. Later, Aries manages to bribe a police officer and gets a chance to see Carla before she's taken to prison. When Carla hears that her daughters are safe with him, she looks relieved. Aries promises he'll get her out and tells her to stay out of trouble while in prison. At home, Aries tries to do something normal for the girls. He makes them a meal, but things go wrong when he finds out Anouk has been talking to Boris. He gets angry and they argue. Anouk thinks Boris is trying to help, but Aries doesn't trust him. The argument gets worse, and in a moment of anger, Aries slaps Anouk. The second it happens, regret hits him hard. Anouk runs out of the house and Aries feels a deep sense of guilt. Realizing his mistake, Aries quickly goes out with his neighbor to find her. When he finally finds Anouk, she's surrounded by a group of teenagers who are bullying her. Aries doesn't think twice. He steps in and takes them on. He fights them off, pushing them away until they run off. Anouk is crying, and Aries pulls her into his arms. He tells her that everything he's doing is for her and her mom, that he's trying to make things right, even if it doesn't always seem that way. On their way home, Aries gets a call from Alina. She tells him to meet her right away. When they meet, Alina explains that Carla's case has gone viral. It's all over the news now, making it impossible for them to use any connections to help her. She also warns him that possessing illegal weapons is a serious crime. Even with a bribe, they'd need at least 100,000 euros to have any chance of getting Carla out. Aries realizes that the only way to save his sister is to come up with the money before her case goes to court. At the boxing arena, the pharmaceutical company is still testing their drug on different blood samples. Aries watches closely as each test fails. The drug works only with his blood, but it kills everyone else. Seeing this firsthand, Aries understands just how rare his situation is. He also learns that the drug has dangerous side effects, but in his desperate situation, he makes up his mind. It's the only way he can earn the money he needs. When Aries asks his coach how he can get the money, his coach mentions the European Championship matches. If Aries wins 3 rounds, he'll earn enough to cover the 100,000 euros and take control of Carla's case. The possibility seems impossible, but it's his only shot. That night, Aries picks up Carla's daughters from his neighbor's house. The next day, the championship contestants are announced, and Aries' first opponent is a well-known, skilled boxer who is expected to defeat him without breaking a sweat. Even his coach doesn't believe in him and refuses to bet on him. Feeling desperate, Aries turns to his neighbor, Sotis. He hands her 15,000 euros and asks her to place a bet on him so he can participate in the match. The next day, as the big fight nears, no one believes Aries has a chance. He's been stuck in the lower ranks for too long, but Aries is determined. He takes the serum and steps into the ring, ready to fight for the money he needs to save his sister. As the fight begins, the crowd is stunned by Aries' unexpected strength. The drug flows through him, enhancing his abilities. He fights with everything he has, and in the end, he defeats his opponent, winning the match. The arena erupts in cheers, but just as Aries stands in the ring, basking in his victory, his body betrays him. He suddenly throws up blood and collapses, unable to stay on his feet. At the company meeting, the CEO proudly presents Aries' victory to the investors, using it as proof that the drug works. The investors are thrilled and eager to back the project. Meanwhile, Aries regains consciousness, with his coach by his side, urging him to keep going, to fight for the championship. But Aries has had enough. He's already secured the money he needs for Carla's release. He doesn't want to keep risking his life. Anna, the company representative, is also there. She tells Aries that he's gained a lot of attention, and the company has even arranged a new coach for him. But Ares, exhausted and overwhelmed, decides it's time to go home. At home, he tells them he plans to keep taking the drug and fight for the championship to get even more money for Carla's release. Anouk protests, warning him that they already have enough money and that continuing to take the drug will kill him. But Ares doesn't listen. He's determined to do whatever it takes. In the days that follow, the pharmaceutical company launches the drug and its popularity explodes. The CEO and investors profit, while Ares becomes more and more consumed by the drug. One day he sits in a car with Alina, handing her the money he's earned for Carla's release. He waits outside the prison, hoping to see his sister walk free, but instead he's called inside. When Ares enters, he's hit with the horrifying truth: Carla has been murdered by prison inmates. Shocked and filled with rage, Ares is consumed by grief. He immediately orders Alina to find out who framed Carla and made this happen. The next day, Ares studies his next opponent. This new fighter looks even stronger than the one he just beat. Just as he's preparing for the fight, Boris calls. The journalist wants Ares' help to expose the pharmaceutical company by revealing how many people the drug has killed. At first, Ares isn't interested, but when Boris tells him the shocking truth that the company was responsible for Carla's death, Ares listens. With everything falling apart, Ares heads back to the boxing arena. This time, he has one goal: confront his coach, and accuses him of betrayal. In a moment of fury, he ends his coach's life for good. As Ares exits, he finds Anna waiting for him. She coldly informs him that the company has taken his nieces hostage and will kill them unless he continues taking the drug and winning. Desperate, Ares calls to check on the girls, but when Alina answers, the truth hits him like a punch to the gut. She's been working with the company all along. Worse, she was the one who framed Carla and made sure she died. At the same time, Ares' neighbor gets a call from Anouk. Something feels wrong, so she checks the security feed. She sees the girls being held captive by Alina. With no time to waste, she calls Boris and rushes to the apartment to rescue them. Armed with a gun, Ares' neighbor storms in with Boris by her side. As she confronts Alina and the company's men, a shot rings out. Alina falls to the ground, dead. The girls are finally free. Meanwhile, Ares is taken to the company's headquarters. In front of the board of directors, he admits that he never took the drug before his last match, and yet it still worked. Anna, determined to prove the drug's effectiveness, injects him with it then and there. In that moment, Boris calls Ares, telling him the girls are safe. Filled with rage and relief, Ares snaps. He attacks and kills the CEO and the board of directors, leaving no one behind. With the company in chaos, Ares opens the door for Boris to expose the truth. He hacks into their systems and makes the drug's deadly secret public. The company's crimes are out in the open for the world to see. But Ares knows the company won't stop until they have wiped out everyone connected to them. He can't let that happen, not to his nieces. With one last, heartbreaking decision, he raises a gun to his head and pulls the trigger. His sacrifice ensures the girls will be safe forever. And that's how Ares' story comes to a tragic yet powerful end. What do you think? Was his sacrifice worth it? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more thrilling movie summaries. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update.